Hello?
Yes, Stella?
Yes.
This is Rob Swyder, State Health Department.
Yes, I'm Mr. Swyder. How are you today?
Good, and yourself?
Okay, thank you.
So I got your message, and I was able to follow up with Mr. Deming regarding where Kristen collected that sample from. According to him, we were told by DEC that they wanted the sample collected from there, and that sample was collected for DEC. We wouldn't typically collect a sample like that. We would evaluate wells where there's more of a human exposure and more of an environmental concern like that would have been a DEC sample as it was described to me. And so that was the reason why that location was chosen, is DEC wanted the sample from there.
All right, yeah, that's what the first impression was when I spoke to Kristen, and because DEC had my hopes up about, Lieutenant Biden knew exactly what I had meant, and about, the mound, I call it the mound, is, huge, large garbage mound that's into the wetlands, and he had, kind of got me thinking that that's where they finally tested, because for me that is a huge passion for me, is because this does run down to the town of Saugerty's drinking water. That's why I figured that the health department would be interested in that, because this is what the town of Saugerty's residents depend on. It comes from here, it comes down from the north.
We regulate Saugerty's water supply, so we regularly sample that.
Yeah. Well, it's like I said,
we would be more concerned directly at Saugerty's levels as opposed to so far upstream.
Yeah, well, it is a hazard though that is coming, and if you get enough of these people up north from a reservoir like this, you get enough of them, you're not going to have healthy drinking water at all. It's still a hazard. If you get one businessman for every wetland like this, what kind of water are you really going to have? But like I said, when I had, he kind of led me to believe that had happened when I talked to Kristen, and she had told me, that's where it kind of taken her. But then when I'd asked Lieutenant Biter, I guess he had talked to Kristen, and he said no, this is where she wanted to. But then when I talked to her, and it's on recording, she had stated it wasn't available, and I argued back, and I said it most certainly was, and I have that on recording also, that I offered to take her down to, and it's a very small path. Even Pete Lopez, the assemblyman, came here, and he walked it. It's very simple, and it could have been one that matters. This one up here was a waste of a test of water that made no sense at all. But
I can't speak to that. All I know is that's what I was told, is that she was asked to collect the sample from there. So At this point, those environmental samples would really fall to DEC.
Yeah.
As to whether or not they want to collect additional samples and from where.
Yeah. All right, great. Well,
we don't have jurisdiction over that.
Yeah, that's what the DEC told me why the health department was here. That's what they said, they were here to test the wells, and then when Kristen got curious, the DEC said that, she had extra samples, so they were going to take one, because the quality of the water down there, I'm really concerned about it. I've seen the type of debris that's there, that's under what's visible to the eye now. We know of 50-gallon oil barrels in there. We know of garbage with dirt, and it's layered of garbage. We know of, there's oh my gosh, there was a refrigerator cemetery over to the side, that appliance cemetery, that's what I was trying to think of, where there's refrigerators and air conditioners and such, dumped over there, and, so that, I'm concerned with that. I know I'm not this huge environmentalist, but I love this wildlife out here. It's a gorgeous area, and I do know what that type of debris can do to this area. And my kids live here. I don't want them living next to a toxic waste dump. Would you? What would you do for your family? And I have concerns for myself and this community.
Situation, I probably would have contacted DEC to see what they could offer.
Yeah, but they're crooked. Right now they're covering their ass, and they know they've done wrong, but the investigating officer had declared a while back, we had found out, for 2 years why this was neglected. He had he knew Mr. Edwards' right-hand man, so that's the investigating officer. He was one who even threatened me the second time I had called on Mr. Edwards for a 50-gallon oil barrel in the water of the wetlands, and I called, and the officer threatened me. He said if I continue to call on Mr. Edwards for his activities, that he would walk around my home and find me for the things that he saw. So, and then that same officer, we found out had a relationship with Mr. Edwards, employee, and that was a kind of aha moment. That kind of made sense why there was so much neglect. The thing is that we've tried, and it wasn't only until I rattled large cages until, they don't know what to do now. They're just struggling to cover up, but it's too late. They can't. There's too many people involved now. But it's just it's sad.
And so we don't have any regulatory authority over private wells or anything, but we came in and we sampled just to make sure there was no public health concern with anyone using the well water. But outside of that, we don't really have any jurisdiction, and it would be up to DEC whether or not they want to pursue any additional sampling or follow-up through Mr. Edwards.
Okay, and then also, so there's also no more, like lead. You guys are not concerned with that amount of lead in the dust? That's also DEC's?
We don't have any authority unless someone has elevated blood lead levels and you have a child there with elevated blood levels. We have no authority to go into your house and sample.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't mean inside my house. It's, like I said, that was already assessed.
We do outside sampling. We only do sampling if we have a poisoned person with lead in their blood.
Yeah, like I said, it's already been stated and investigated that my home does not contain lead inside my house, that it came from the environment. So that's one thing that concerned me, how nobody is concerned with that amount of lead that's swirling around this community in the air. That's...
If you go to your doctor and get your blood lead levels tested, you have the right to do that.
No, we have, though.
If you don't have any in your blood, then it's not getting into your system and you're not having an exposure.
No, I've been tested. My kids have been tested. They are low levels. They have gone up and down. However, a concern is that my children, with some of their learning disabilities, it's been a constant level for them. And I've read up on with lead that it doesn't always have to be, a heightened level of it to cause some type of damage, especially for small children. A continuous, exposure to it can do harm to a young baby. And my daughter Stella, who's 7 now, we've lived here her entire life, and she's had a continuing level of lead, but he used to do a lot more things than what he's doing now. And the DEC knew about when he would use his shaker, and we would have, a layer of dust on our cars. I literally had to use the washer fluid so I could see out of my window, and yet the DEC never said anything about that he's not allowed to create dust at all. This is the problems that we're having. It's, but it outside of that broken window, the only thing that's outside of that is grass, trees, and the Mr. Edwards property that is nothing but dirt, and when he drives his trucks on it, that's what kicks up the dirt. It's not in my home. So, but I said it's a continuous level of lead that my kids have been exposed to. So, all right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Swyder, for calling back and showing your concern. Thank you very much.
Well, good luck with everything.
Thank you. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Yes, you too.
Thank you. Bye.